Hello everybody and welcome to zlatanobojmtg's first foray into the podcasting world here on Chump Blockers. I'm here with Alex.
How's it going, guys?
And I'm Noah. You know me. You know Alex now. So today on Chump Blockers, what a name. Alex came up with that. I think that's quite clever.
Thank you very much. I scrolled through a list of terms until I found one that was good.
It's true. I watched him do it. So
a lot of
today,
legwork.
well, yeah, no. So today we're going to be talking about two things in particular. One is the aspect of sort of Garrick and what's going on with Garrick in M15. We have some information on what's going on with him currently in some sort of way. I mean, it's not like a proper card as such, but we'll tell you that when we get to it.
There's speculation to be made.
Yeah, there is speculation. It's interesting. We'll talk about it in a minute. And also some, well, actually not even some, a hell of a lot of M15 spoilers. Mostly new, including some of the designed cards, designed by blah, blah, blah.
Some are great, some are really bad.
But we've got different opinions on some of them.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about them when we get to them. But first, let's go and see if we can defeat Garrick at the pre-release. So let's go with this.
Wizards are doing another pre-release like they did with Theros, Spawn of the Gods, Journey to Nyx. And I think they also did it with Ravnica, Gatecrash and Dragon's Maze as well, didn't they?
Yeah, all the finding your way through the maze things.
But there'll be an event held at Game Days, and basically
there's this card, right? It's coming up on your screen now. If you're listening to this, go and check it out another time. But we will talk about the card anyway.
The card is Garrick the Slayer.
And it's not a normal card. It's an oversized card that comes with each pre-release box. So I'm guessing it's the size of the oversized commanders.
Yeah.
I would guess.
It's a 4 ability Planeswalker.
Yeah, 4 abilities with 20 loyalty.
Yes.
So it's a Planeswalker card. It's green and black. It's black-green, it's Golgari.
You were, until today, you were quite certain that he would be mono black.
I thought he would be.
Yeah.
I thought the Veil had corrupted him that much that he would be mono black.
But it's interesting because if they end up... Obviously this... I mean, once you see it, you'll realise why. This card is not going to be the Planeswalker. If they print a Garrick Planeswalker card playable, it won't be this.
No, but it does suggest that Garrick, if it does get printed in M15, it will be in Golgari colours also. Otherwise it'd be a bit weird if they printed a mono black one after printing a Golgari coloured thing. But maybe it's the only Garrick we're going to get.
But that'll also mean if they do print it playable with Vraska, there'll be 2 Golgari Planeswalkers doing the rounds.
I mean, as I mentioned before when we were talking about this, the fact that they've got new art for Ajani on the new products coming out, new art for Jace, and new art for Nissa, but reprinted art for Chandra and Liliana, doesn't leave a lot of room for another Planeswalker. So, no. I mean, I don't know, and this is just speculation, whether this is going to be the only Garrick card we get. All this hype, and maybe this is the only thing we get.
I think it's a bit of a bust if that is the case. If you once you see the card, you'll see it's the same, not concept art, but it's the same artwork of Garrick that you've been seeing all over the Jewels of the Planeswalkers.
Yeah, it's the black and white thing with the glowing purple eyes.
Which seems a bit, phoned in. It seems like they haven't really put a lot of thought into it, I don't think.
But, Wizards don't always go for home runs. No. For example, the Hellvault was a big letdown. I don't know if you weren't around in Innistrad things, but for the Hellvault in Avacyn Restored, every store got a Hellvault that you had to crack open.
Okay.
And it was really cool. The idea was like, oh my god, we get to see what's inside the Hellvault. It was terrible. The stuff that's inside the Hellvault was worthless. It was really, really bad stuff. Some places didn't even get anything bar tokens. And some special places that Wizards liked got crazy foil, full-size things and foil this and foil tokens and dice and all sorts. So that was a real letdown. This might be going the same way. That is just speculation. We'll have to see. However, this is what the gameplay of Garrick the Slayer is. So
let's quickly run down his abilities.
Yeah, let's talk about the card first. So obviously it's a Planeswalker, 20 loyalty.
4 abilities. 4
abilities, so it's the first 4 ability Planeswalker since Jace.
Which I think is interesting and actually says a lot towards whether or not Garrick might be printed. In a recent podcast that Mark Rosewater does, someone asked him whether or not they will print another 4 he was talking about Jason Mind Sculptor, and somebody asked him, "Will you ever print another 4 ability Planeswalker?" And he answers with a deal of uncertainty, saying he thinks they will, but it doesn't sound like he'd planned to. If you understand what I mean. So
I think they realised 4 abilities is just a bit too much.
So that, which kind of makes me think even more that, I mean, obviously this isn't going to be, but I think that kind of puts into perspective what Wizards think about this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain what I'm trying to get across, but I don't know how much sort of effort they've put into this.
It doesn't seem a lot. The 0 ability is a classic Garruk thing, putting a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So his first ability is a 0 cost, 2/2 green wolf creature token. He's got a +4, which is target wolf gets +1, +0, and
Which
gains
is below
death
the
touch.
0, I've just noticed, so that's a bit odd.
What do you mean?
His
ability
is like below a 0 ability.
Yeah. Well, it was similar with Jace.
No,
Jace had a 0 ability. Oh, no, I can't think of whether Jace's was below. It doesn't... Either way. And then it's got a -10 to destroy target creature and put loyalty counters onto Garruk the Slayer equal to that creature's toughness. That's quite a cool ability.
Yeah.
With 20 loyalty, obviously you're going to be killing the creature and then getting some of that back. So it's not actually going to cost you -10 loyalty to crack that ability, but... And then it's -25... Destroy all creatures Garruk the Slayer doesn't control. Because you play as Garruk the Slayer. We'll explain this in a minute. Because Wizards have come up with this. That one player, it's basically like a 2-player game. One player puts his or her pre-release deck as normal and you use it as normal. That player always goes first, which is straightforward. The other player, however, plays as Garruk, which is cool.
Plays as this card.
You play as this card. I think this is the only card you're allowed to use because it makes wolves and you destroys things. Garruk starts at 20 loyalty, as we know, and can activate 1 loyalty ability each turn, like all other Planeswalkers. Like other Planeswalkers, it can be attacked, so you can be attacked just like you are Garruk, and if his loyalty reaches 0, then that player loses, but if Garruk's Horde of Wolves drops the player to 0, then Garruk wins. So if Garruk can take down the other person, then they win. It's just a normal game of Magic, but you play specifically as that card. So as you're looking at the card, guys... What do you think? Let us know in the comments below what you think about our speculation that maybe Garruk's not going to get printed.
Which seems like a big bust, really, to me.
Yeah, I mean,
after all the hype.
That is only speculation. It's not just us saying it. That's other people on forums, on Reddit, things like that. So
it's certainly going to be Planeswalker heavy.
Yeah, I mean, as well, the weird thing is after the match, if you win or lose, you're supposed to upload a picture of you standing next to Garruk in either a pose of triumph or a pose of loss.
Well, if you'd lost against Garruk...
Oh, you'd be wrecked.
You'd be wrecked.
I mean, look at him there with his big axe.
Your anus would be hanging out of your nose.
Ugh, that's not a good look. But yeah, guys, remember to hashtag it so Wizards can see.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, what are your opinions on Garruk? Are they bad? Are they good? What do you think about Garruk being black-green? What do you think about this Planeswalker thing?
Here's a way to sum it up. At the game day, will you do it?
Will I do Garruk?
Will you play the event? Are you excited to do it?
No.
No. Well then.
Not really. And that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They're supposed to excite you. It doesn't.
No.
I think they've missed the ball. I think they've missed the bus.
Missed the bus. Running down the road
I think they
after
are.
that bus.
Garruk, wait! Garruk's just fucked off. He's not paid for his ticket. He's killed the bus driver. He slashed the tyres. And he's just fucking off.
He's just on top of it like Teen Wolf.
Yeah, he's off into the distance. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a miss.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's go and talk about some really exciting stuff and a lot better stuff to be talking about.
Some M15 spoilers!
Oh my word. Spoiler season's upon us. These spoilers are pretty recent. When this podcast goes up, it'll be the same day we've seen these things and talked about them. So let's get going with the first one, which is Return to the Ranks.
May I?
You may.
X and white. Convoke, which for anyone who doesn't know...
yes. I love Convoke.
Noah's got a big old boner for Convoke.
I love it. It's great.
Basically, Convoke means you can tap your creatures to reduce the cost of the spell by 1 colourless or 1 mana of that creature's colour. So if you've got like a Serra Angel, you can tap it and you can reduce a cost by a white or a colourless. So
yeah.
So Return to the Ranks is X white with Convoke. Return X target creature cards with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So to the battlefield, I always like to see to the battlefield rather than to the hand.
It's being printed less and less on cards. Less and less. I mean, since Innistrad, even more so because they realised how strong an ability it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this card. I think it's pretty good.
Well,
I'm not sure because you need to have creatures out to make it cheap
Yes.
to get your more of your cheap creatures back.
Yes.
This is going to be played in white weenies.
It's white weenies, but it's not. I mean, you can use tokens to convoke it, but you can't return tokens. They don't exist anymore.
No, as soon as they hit the graveyard, they don't exist.
So,
but I don't know. I don't think it's going to get there. I'm just going to say that outright. I don't think it's going to get there in standard. It can be a build around me card in draft. A lot of these cards are. And if it shows up and you're down behind and you manage to get all your white little tiny creatures back, it's good.
If you've got a lot of stuff in the graveyard, it can be like a second assault.
However, this card is going to change on how good it is depending on what creatures are going to be 2 or less.
It's clearly built for white weenies.
It's built for white weenies. It's built to go off perhaps an Elspeth ultimate. Not an ultimate, an Elspeth first ability,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
So you can convoke it next turn with those tokens.
Yes.
Which I think is quite cool, actually, seeing as all the stuff going on about Elspeth dying and possibly coming back. Return to the ranks is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
the art's pretty good.
the art's cool. I like the art, so props to the artist. But I think I don't think it's going to get there, but it really does depend. Perhaps a one-of in some decks, maybe. But I don't even think that.
I think a theme for a lot of the stuff we're going to be saying here is good and limited.
Yeah, it's often the case.
And that is going to be pretty good and limited.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean,
Well, depending on what else you draft.
yeah,
It's not a bomb, is
I'd
it?
say it's good, but it's not going to see standard play. Good in draft, not as good in sealed because
No.
it depend. In sealed, you're
Yes.
not perhaps going to get that many 2 or less creatures.
Yeah, if you open this pack 1, then you can sort of think, oh, okay, well, this creature's 2 mana.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Spirit Bonds.
1 and 1 white enchantment. Another rare to talk about here. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 white. If you do, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So straight away, that's a really decent ability.
Yeah.
Paying 1 white for a spirit token with flying is relevant. It's really nice. Although it's a bit of a mana sink, we'll talk about the other ability in a couple of seconds. 1 mana for a 1/1 flyer is really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And then 1 colourless and 1 white. So the same cost as Spirit Bond, and you have to sack a spirit. A non-spirit creature gains indestructible to the end of turn. So you can then protect your non-spirit creatures with those spirits that you've created. Opinions, Alex, what do you think?
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
Why?
I just think for the archetype that it's obviously built for, which is white weenies again.
Yeah.
It helps. It slots in. It's not intrusive. It's an enchantment that only costs 2, and it helps you get another 1/1 flyer out every turn.
The thing is, it's okay, but it's not going to see much competitive standard play.
No, I don't think it's.
No, it's not that because players that are going to be playing competitively in standard, we're not talking FNMs.
No.
Because I think it could get seen at FNMs. I really do. I think people could build around it. However, professional players and more, tournament players don't like to have something they have to actively invest in.
Yeah, I think at a semi-casual level, you look at this card and you think this could be good. If I'm putting creatures out anyway, I can pay 1 white and get another creature, and then.
Yeah, I mean, the first ability is going to be good. The second ability is not so good, just because you don't want to sacrifice a flyer. That's the thing.
Well, it depends what you're up against.
And it also depends what the creature you're giving indestructible is.
Yeah.
Indestructible's being waved around a lot now.
It really
I'm
has.
not really sure about that.
I'm not keen on it.
I'm not keen
I
on
think
it.
it's a bit. I think it screeches things to a halt.
Yeah, but anyway, Spirit Bonds. I think it's going to see playing limited, as most of these probably will.
Yeah, I've just put a bit of praise on it, but I will say if I open a pack and it's my rare, I'd be pretty disappointed.
Yes, yeah. But in FNMs, weenie builds will like it. It works actually with return to ranks. If you pay, if you can cheapen return to ranks enough to then pay the mana for Spirit Bond, you can get some real value out of those spirit tokens.
Ah, good thought.
So we're going on.
Warden of the Beyond.
Our first, no, it's actually not our first. We should go back quickly. Actually, Spirit Bonds is designed by Justin
Gary.
Gary, yeah.
I don't know who.
Not sure who that is.
But-
apologies if you're listening. Which you
But
probably
props to Justin Gary for.
It's a pretty cool card.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We've not seen something like that before, so it's nice.
So moving on to a card designed by Isaiah Cartwright, who also, unfortunately I don't know who that is, but Warden of the Beyond is 2 colourless and a white mana for a 2/2 creature, human wizard with vigilance, and he has a pretty niche ability where Warden of the Beyond gets +2/+2 as long as an opponent owns a card in exile. I think this card's... You don't like it, do
I
you?
don't like it at all.
It's uncommon as well.
I like the design.
I
do
think
like the design.
Yeah, I like that. It's something I haven't seen before.
It's a cool design. However, it requires an awkward type of removal for it to be really good.
Yeah.
I said this to you. If it was 2 mana as either a 1/1 or a 2/2, that either got +1/+1 or +1/+2. Sorry, +2/+2.
Yeah.
When there was a card in exile, because then you could curve from Warden the Beyond into a Banishing Light.
Yes.
And be quite happy with the result, because then you could attack with a 4/4 or attack with a 3/3 either way, whichever way it was working out. But because it's 3 mana for a 2/2,
if it was on curve,
it's got vigilance and it's good. Again, it's good in limited. It's good in limited.
We said this earlier. If it was like 1 white for a 2/2, and then its ability gave it +1/+1, it would be better. Yeah. If it was on curve.
Yeah, I mean, even if they kept it exactly the same but made it double white instead of 2 1 white, that would be better.
But they can't all be good.
No, they can't all be good. But
if I was a Sire Cartwright, I'd be pretty...
I would.
Yeah.
I would. It's a lovely design.
Yeah.
It really is a good design, but it's so awkward to try and get that +2/+2. I mean, because there's not many cards that exile things that, are good. Banishing Light's one of them.
Banishing Light, Banishing Priest.
Well, yeah, but Banisher Priest is going to be going out.
Yeah. But if Banisher Priest is going out, would you not consider even putting 2 of these in? If you're playing the kind of deck that arrests,
Arrest doesn't exile it.
Well, okay, but if you're playing
exactly, this is the point. There's not many cards to talk about. There's Banishing Light and there's
Chain to the Rocks.
No.
Chain to the Rock does exile. Yeah.
Chain to the Rocks works. Okay.
But you need to enable it. It's a lot of hassle, isn't it?
It is hassle. That's the thing.
Just to make this card go from like okay to really good.
Yeah,
it's a lot of hassle.
I mean, it's going to be good and limited. Let's not take that away. It's a 2/2 vigilance for 3. White likes this sort of creature.
Possibly a 4/4 vigilance for 3 if you've done the legwork.
But it's not going to see standard play because it needs other cards to be effective.
What's this next one?
This one I'm excited for. I really, really like Chasm Scholar. This is amazing.
Skulker.
Skulker, sorry, not Scholar. I'll let you go on about it.
It's a creature, Squid Horror, which is such a cool combo.
It's very cool.
2 and a blue. Whenever you draw it's a 1/1. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Chasm Skulker. That's ace.
It is ace.
When Chasm Skulker dies, put X11 blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk onto the battlefield, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Chasm Skulker. That is so cool.
So this is designed by Mike Newman.
I recognise that name.
I'm not sure who it is, but Alex knows, or will know in a second.
I'll know in a sec when I've had a look. Oh, I don't think it's this guy.
I don't think it's that guy.
Don't search Mike Newman on Google, guys. You're going to get a lot of pictures of sexy men.
Anyway.
Something to do with Borderlands? Oh, he's an actor and writer for
there
Borderlands, Brothers in Arms.
So he writes video games.
By the looks of things.
So Mike Newman's a video game writer. He wrote Borderlands, things like that. But Chasm Scholar, the reason it's good and the reason it's going to see standard play, in my opinion, is the fact that it gets bigger just by playing Magic.
Yeah, you've said this.
I've said this to you. Cards that just get bigger by playing Magic, Tarmogoyf, are good. Because if you untap with this, so if you play this card, your opponent plays his turn and doesn't manage to remove it, you draw a card, it's already a 2/2. Then you've got all your mana to play with it to add more counters onto it. So if you're playing blue, you're going to be you're going to be using things like divination. You're going to be drawing cards.
In certain formats, you can be brainstorming.
Oh my word! Don't even start me on. I'll talk in a bit about this in Legacy because this is going to see play. I swear to God.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to keep making it bigger, and if they do remove it, you get squid tokens with Island Walk.
And what do you think the percentage of like legacy decks that play blue is?
I would say around 80 to 90% play blue. From what I've seen, I don't play a lot of Legacy. In fact, I don't play any Legacy.
No.
But I do keep a track on decks what I'm playing, and most of the time, Delver's like a huge one. I mean, there's loads. There's really is loads. But Legacy loves this guy based off Taxiing Probe and Brainstorm on its own.
It's dangerous as soon as it comes down. It's crazy.
Taxiing Probe's free if you pay 2 life. So there's a free draw card, look at opponent's hand, and then put a counter on Chasm Skulker. Brainstorm, obviously, and when he dies, you get Island Walk tokens. So obviously, with the amount of blue mana floating around in Legacy, those tokens aren't going to be able to be blocked by pretty much anything. You said earlier an interesting thing, which was that it's a blue hoser card.
For blue?
For blue.
Yeah, in blue.
Which will take down a lot of the power from blue, I think. But at the same, it will keep it at a nice level.
Yeah.
Because blue decks will be playing Chasm Skulker.
Giving these squids Island Walk was a stroke of genius.
It was. Without Island Walk, the card's okay, and but it's really good.
It seems like they've taken a bit of a step towards like the like blank walk, plains walk.
I like it.
Walk.
I think it's good. I mean, it's one of my favourite cards that's been spoilt so far. Mm-hmm. It's not going to break standard by any stretch of the imagination. It will see play, I think, and it will see play at FNMs, and I'm going to try and build a deck around it.
Because when do you not when you all this you've already pretty much covered it, but it's always good to draw cards.
Yeah.
This makes it better to draw cards,
there you go.
basically.
Right, let's move on before I wet myself. Jalera.
Master Polymorphist. You don't like this card much.
I don't.
3 and a blue. It's a legendary creature, human wizard, 2/2. For 2 and a blue and a tap and sacrifice another creature. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. They go into the bottom of the library now and not the graveyard.
I know, that's 1+. 1+ that I can see, because polymorphy effects usually put things in the graveyard, so this is okay. But it's just so mana intensive. It's so hit and miss. There's only one sort of thing which we discussed before, which you could do with this card in a standard environment, which you
could have a token generator, sack the tokens, and have nothing but big creatures in your deck.
I've just noticed.
Which is horrible.
With Chasm Skulker, you could sack Chasm Skulker, get the tokens from it, go and search for something else, then start sacking the tokens.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Now thinking about it, I might actually put 1 in my Chasm Skulker deck when this comes out. However,
we just spoiled that you're going to make a Chasm Skulker deck.
I mentioned it briefly before. However, it's weird, and I don't think it's going to see any standard play.
No.
Other than the fact if I'm playing it, which I might or might not. But don't get me wrong, it's one of the most fun commander cards. It's going to be so cool.
Potential for greatness, cool. I think.
Yeah.
So not much more to say on that.
But it seems to be what it's made for, Commander.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah, you
it's
said
not
this
like,
before.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things.
So, Master of Predicaments, which this is, I mean, it's cool. It's cool card.
It's cool.
You go ahead.
I mean, I've said about this. I mean, we'll say what the card is first. That's probably a good place to start. 3 and 2 blue. It's a 4/4 flying. Good in limited already. Just that body is fine.
Yeah.
Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, choose a card in your hand. And this is where it gets weird. That player guesses, and I love the fact that there's guesses on the card, whether the card's converted mana cost is greater than 4. If the player guessed wrong, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. David Serlin, fantastic design.
You crazy guy.
Fantastic design.
It's a Sphinx.
It's a Sphinx. It's one of the best Sphinxes they've ever printed, other than the crazy you draw 2 cards whenever anyone draws a card thing. Yeah. That's stupid. But Master Predicaments is so fun. It's great. It's not going to be competitive again, but it's so fun.
It's got a little bit of that, like in limited. It's got a bit of that conspiracy flavour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it just comes out the box a little bit.
Even the artwork screams conspiracy for me. I mean, it looks like he's sat in Vegas next to some slot machines. But at the same time, like, in limited it's going to be good because it's 4/4 flyer for 5 in blue, which is great.
And its ability's just, I mean...
And the ability...
At the very least, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It makes limited fun, more than Garrick does. And, I mean, why didn't they make this the thing? At least we'll be disappointed.
Guess this card.
Yeah, guess it.
And it's so sphinxy as well.
Yeah, it is. It's that sort of very sort of wise, like I know better than you sort of thing.
I get the feeling that David Serlin, he's been secretly planning this card for maybe 10 years. Like
Probably. I mean, it's such a weird thing that maybe he has, but it's good. It's going to be good and limited. It's got an awesome upside. Play it. It's good.
So we're coming on to our first mythic rare.
What
What a piece of shit.
What an awful card.
It's
Soul of Ravnica.
So I'll just quickly go over. There's like a cycle of soul of like certain planes. Like there's Ravnica, New Phyrexia, where else? Chandalar, Innistrad, and what's the other one? There's another one.
Zendika.
Yeah. So basically they're all 4 colour. They're all 6/6 bodies. I think they're all mythic rares.
And then they all have one ability that's key to that colour.
Yes. So Soul of Ravnica is 4 blue flyer 6/6. So it's 6 for a 6/6 flyer. The body's all right.
Limited, good.
Yeah. It's not
good.
It's not mythic rare good where it is right now, but so it's 5 blue. Draw a card for each colour among permanents you control, and then for 5 blue again, you can exile it from your graveyard to do the same thing. So
we're leaving.
So seven mana to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
7 mana to draw 2 cards. Card draw's good. Not on this fucking thing. It's not. I'm telling you now, it's not great. It's probably the worst soul of whatever it is.
It's poor, and there is another one that is pretty bad.
Yeah, and
this
there
is
are,
worse, I
but
think.
this is worse.
I mean, I'm sure somebody can turn around and make us eat our words. But
of course, but no way standard. No, but a 6/6 flyer for limited, yes. Like everything else that's high flying power in limited is going to be good. It has relevant card draw if you're struggling.
I mean, 7 for 5 draw is ace.
If you're struggling and there's nothing else to do.
You're like 7 mana for 5 cards is good, but you're never going to get that.
No.
You're never going to get 5 cards.
No.
No,
You're
I don't
not.
think. Unless you specifically build around it, and I just think you're shooting yourself in the foot if you do.
Yeah, because the rest of your deck suffers for trying to play around it.
Yes.
I mean, if you are struggling, as I say, late game in limited, and you're playing 2 colours, you might want to pay 7 mana.
But if you want to pay 7 mana to draw 2 cards, you've already lost.
Yeah, you've lost. Moving on, it's crap.
Oh, so I'm excited about this one because I'm a huge Edmund McMillan fan.
You are.
I love me some Binding of Isaac. I love Super Meat Boy. I've got the Basement Collection, all the other little games, all the Flash games that he did.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. He's a bit of a dick, but I like his artistic visionary. So he's designed Cruel Sadist, which is 1 black mana, just a black mana, for a 1/1.
It's an assassin. I love assassins. It's so cool.
It's a creature, human assassin. It's rare. And then for 1 black and tap, pay 1 life. So black mana, tap, pay 1 life. Put a 1/1 counter on Cruel Sadist. And then for 2 and a black, tap. Then you remove the X1 plus... You remove X +1/+1 counters from Cruel Sadist, and Cruel Sadist deals X damage to target creature. God, that was easy to say, wasn't it?
God, that's like a 3-line thing. It took you about 4 hours to say.
Yeah, sorry about that.
This card is...
So put counters on, remove the counters, deal damage.
It could have been so good.
If it didn't have the tap symbol on
you know what? If it didn't have the tap symbol, this would have seen standard play. Possibly. I'm not saying it definitely
on the top
would.
ability we're talking, right?
Yeah, the top ability. The second ability is fine to have a tap thing because dealing damage to things is...
Paying 1 life is already... I mean, it would make the card like super good, but that's good.
It's supposed to be good.
But to tap it is...
1 black and 1 life to put a 1/1 counter on this creature is fine. I understand that at some point this thing would get extraordinarily big, but it's going to be a magnet for removal.
Yeah.
An absolute magnet. And there's a lot of removal around at the moment, and someone's going to take it out before it has a chance.
Yeah.
But the fact that... I mean, it's great for kitchen table players. It's great for people that just want to play casually, and it's great for limited. It's cool flavour, but
I also think it's just a long-winded way to get something done.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
The tap clause slows it down far too much.
Yeah.
In an environment in standard, I'm talking about here, where you need to be using your mana more wisely. You need to constantly in standard be on curve, be doing something, not just going, okay, I'll tap this now, and it can't do anything, can't block, can't do this.
Pay a life.
Oh, it's just...
Like if you're an EDH
Yeah.
and you've got like 20 swamps on board and you're on 45 life or whatever,
Do you know what?
just keep putting it in every turn.
Yeah,
But
the one thing they could have given this card to make it good, kept everything the same, Death Touch.
yeah, yes,
And then it would have been good.
yeah.
But it's not, and we move on.
Well, you can talk about the next guy. You love him.
I do. Obnilixis. Unshackled.
Obnixilis.
Nixilis, whatever it is.
Unshackled.
6 mana, 4 and 2 black for a 4/4 flying trample, which is okay.
Yeah, it's on
not
the cusp.
bad. It's on the cusp, but the abilities are so good. Whenever an opponent searches his or her library, that player sacrifices a creature and loses 10 life. Holy cow! And whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on said card. It's designed by Brad Muir, and this card, for me, is awesome. I mean, it's a black card that nerfs tutoring, and
Yep.
black is like, it does everything black stands for. It's got the price of knowledge thing, which is the 10 life and sacking a creature.
Yeah.
And it's got the bonus of creatures dying. It's 2 things black do well. It's got it on 1 card.
Yeah.
Not standard. Limited, yes.
It's interesting with all the hype and talk. There's been a lot of sort of murmuring about bringing fetch lands back,
This is the thing.
and this would sort of be a huge deterrent for that.
It would be a huge
and
deterrent.
would make a really cool dynamic in a game where it's like,
Yeah,
shit.
if fetch lands get printed,
Yeah.
this will see play. If it doesn't get printed, I don't think Omnilixis will see play.
No.
Maybe, possibly in a sideboard, if a control deck is really just going through cards in their library, or a
Yeah.
ramp deck searching for mana,
Yeah.
then fine. Okay?
I mean, I've played blue control decks that pretty much spend the whole game fanning through their library. So.
Yeah. But,
But then
It's
this just
the-
needs to get removed, and then you can just carry on.
Yeah, exactly. But it's an auto-include for black EDH players, because it stops everyone else from doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
Cultivate, no. Take 10 life and sack a creature. Okay? Demonic Tutor. Okay?
Any tutor.
Any tutor at all, lose 10 life, sack a creature. Oh yeah, now he's bigger, now swing at your face, because you're a dick for tutoring.
Also, not the first time we've seen Nob?
Nob? Noblixis.
Obnixilis. When he was
Obniglixis.
also in Zendikar.
He was.
With a landfall.
Landfall.
ability.
But yeah, he's very cool. Possibly sideboard standard then, maybe a push. But we don't know.
So, this is the card designed by the Magic community, Waste Not. You've probably seen it if you haven't. It's 1 and 1 black. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, add 2 black mana to your mana pool. And whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. I like it.
It's cool. It's designed by committee, in this case the Magic community. It's a fairly decent build around me card. That's the whole thing. It has 3 abilities that are key to making people discard cards. Now there's a
with
bit...
all the stuff that's going on in black at the minute, all the thought seas, all the duress.
Thought Seizes, Duress. You've got a possible reprint of Liliana Vess,
Yeah.
which does have discard options. The thing I really like about this is that, I mean, you'll probably remember Liliana's Reaver from the last core set was awesome. Apart from it put things onto the battlefield tapped. It put black zombies tapped. Usually, black zombies, 2/2 black zombies enter the battlefield tapped on most cards. This doesn't tap them.
Yeah.
The flavour's cool. An opponent discards a creature card, so a creature's died, and then this guy's come along, and he's raised it from the dead as a zombie. Waste not. Don't waste flesh.
Yes.
Whenever an opponent discards a land card, tills the land away, destroys some land, he adds black mana to the mana pool.
Yeah.
Don't waste your land, because I'll have it.
Yes.
It's good, and it's really good. Build
love the
around
art
me.
as
It's going to be really good in draft, because people are going to just draft this card and draft as much discard as possible to get value out of it. It's really cool. You might not get all the pieces in sealed to make it good.
No.
If you pull this in sealed, because you've got to get all the discard pieces to make it good. But,
I like that it's only two mana.
yeah, I think it's good. I think for the 2 mana cost, it has niche standard implications.
Yes.
Because it's cheap.
Yes.
And because it does things passively. It's not like the second thing we talked about, which was Spirit Bonds.
Yeah.
Because you have to invest in that as an
This
enchantment.
just sits there and just carries on.
It's the same cost. It costs 2, like Spirit Bonds does, but it just does things.
Yes.
You just play your game and it does things.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's cool.
You don't really have to invest any sort of mind time to it at all.
No, you don't have to think. It just does things.
Just put it down, and then if it's going to make your game easier, it's going to make your game easier.
Yeah, and if it doesn't do anything, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. So Zarid Slyblade, it's 2 and 1 black mana for a 2/1 human assassin again. It has hexproof, and hexproof is not a black staple.
We'll talk about this momentarily.
3 and 1 black until the end of turn. It loses hexproof and it gains first strike and death touch.
First strike and death touch is so good together.
Flavorful.
Yeah,
it's
really
so
good.
flavorful.
It's so good. I mean, I've seen so many complaints about this card breaking the colour pie. You can't break the colour pie by giving black hexproof, because I think this is either the first or one of the first, one of the only black hexproof cards. It works so well flavorfully that it's forgiven for me. I don't think it's breaking it that bad, because flavorfully, having a creature that hides in the shadows, unable to be seen, and then it pops out of its cloak of darkness, so we get rid of the hexproof, and it just comes out and takes your head off with
First strike and death touch. It's just a fantastic use of the abilities to tell a story. I think of the keywords. It's a fantastic word of the keywords that they've got to sort of get across a theme.
And that's why I think this is one of the best designed cards.
Rob
Pardo's done a great job, and as you say, he tells a story using 3 keywords.
Yes.
And the art helps that out well.
Yep.
It's all round a great card.
I really like this card. I'll be honest, I really like this card.
I don't know about in standard, as usual, because it's only a 2/1, but the reason I think that isn't because it's a 2/1 for 3, because cards have made it there before with those stats.
Yeah.
The reason is because it's an obvious threat.
Yes.
People can play around it. People can wait until you pay that and then get rid of something.
Yes.
Before it managed to do its thing.
Yes.
They can see that you have to pay for. They can see that it's there. It's not invisible. It's just got hexproof.
But it's to admire.
So cool.
It's a good card
so
to admire,
cool.
isn't it?
It's too much of an obvious card for standard.
Yeah.
But should be really good in limited.
It only does one thing. It does it reasonably well.
Yes.
I think. So moving on, we're on to the. This is the biggie. This is the one that a lot of people are waiting for, because everybody loves Notch. Everybody venerates Marcus Pearson. Everybody worships Minecraft Man. But it's not a very good card.
No, it's not. It's really not. Let's go through it. It's 3 colours, mana, 1 red. It's an enchantment that is incredibly good. It's called Aggressive Mining. Look at the art. It's all Minecrafty. And listen to how good this is. You can't play lands. Hell yeah.
4 of.
Yeah, 4 of. Sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards, activate this ability only once each turn. It's really weird. It's designed by Notch. I get the art, I get the name because it's Minecraft, and even I get the colour because dwarves and goblins do mining shit. But it's so janky, it's so weird,
I think
that it's not going to go anywhere apart from one place. And there's only one place it's going to go, and that is a Zedru, the Great-Hearted EDH deck. Because you give people this card and they can't play lands, and it's hilarious. But it's terrible.
A little bit of background. Aggressive. This was originally called Aggressive Campaign, and Wizards added the mining thing and presumably pushed it to be more Minecrafty, which I feel a bit sorry for Notch for that, because he's constantly being painted into a corner as the guy that did a Minecraft one time.
And did a Minecraft. You goddamn done a Minecraft.
I don't think this is very special.
It's not great. I mean, someone somewhere's going to break it. I don't know who.
I'm sure.
I don't care who it is, because that person is living on a different realm of existence to we are.
I don't even think it's that clever, really.
No, it's just new and weird.
Yeah.
But moving on, because it's just odd. I mean, someone's going to break it, but it's not going to be me.
This
or
one
Alex.
was designed by Stone Librand.
Oh. Goblin Kaboomist. What an awesome name. 2 cost, 1 and 1 red for a 1/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a colourless artifact token named Landmine onto the battlefield with the ability of 1 red and sacrifice it. This artifact deals 2 damage to target attacking creature without flying, then flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Goblin Kaboomist deals 2 damage to itself.
Okay, checklist. Good name?
Yes.
Good art?
Yes.
Shit card?
Yes.
Okay.
Very cool and flavoursome. However, outside kitchen table and perhaps another goblin for EDH players to piss around with. It's not going to see play. It's not great and limited, as it easily takes itself out of the game. And, put it this way. If you were to put all this into one spell, if you were to put all of this ability into one spell, and it's not a creature, it's just a spell, it would be 1 and 2 red to deal 2 damage to target attacking creature without flying,
which isn't very good.
Which isn't very good.
And 50% of the time, you're going to lose the body.
Yeah, it's not great. It's just, I mean, it looks awesome. Don't get me wrong, it looks cool. The flavor's cool. The name is amazing, but it's just not good enough.
Useful card? No.
A useful card coming up next though.
Shrapnel Blast.
Love this thing.
That art.
I know. This is a Mirrodin card, I believe. This is a reprint from Mirrodin. 2 cost again. Instant, uncommon. 1 and 1 red. As an additional cost, sacrifice an artifact. And it deals 5 damage to target creature or player. So 2 mana to deal 5 damage is good for 2 mana.
Interestingly, works quite well with Goblin Kaboomist.
Yeah, we spoke about this briefly, because the Goblin Kaboomist brings landmines onto the battlefield, an artifact, at the upkeep. So it does give you fodder for Shrapnel Blast, which is better than doing the sacrifice, deal 2 damage, blah,
But
blah,
unless
blah.
I'm reading Goblin Kaboomist wrong, you have to flip the coin on your upkeep. So every turn it's possibly going to kill itself. Just read through it again.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
every upkeep you get landmine, every upkeep it possibly kills itself.
Yeah, because it's
Well,
not...
unless you pump it. But
Because it's not part of the landmines ability.
yes.
That's even worse.
I mean, if you can somehow pump Goblin Kaboomist as soon as it comes out.
Oh, yeah, but we're going well into some sort of weird mystical territory now.
That we don't want to
There's
be
not
in.
There's not many things in red that pump defense.
So Shrapnel Blast, anyway.
But, yeah.
Shrapnel Blast is alright, but what artifacts are you willing to sacrifice? Really? I mean, but if you need to get 5 damage through to win you the game, I suppose you can sacrifice any artifact.
There's probably going to be... I mean, in Limited it's good because you're going to have some artifacts that you probably at some point will need, some point you won't need. And
Is
if you don't
gold
need
an
them,
artifact?
fine. Gold's an artifact.
So that works.
I mean, yeah, if you want to play red-black, you can use gold.
Use King Makar, then use the
Gold.
Shrapnel Blast.
Oh, it's too janky.
Yeah.
Shrapnel Blast is okay. It's not fantastic. It's just there for removal. If you can use it, you can use it and it's good. But yeah.
On to the next mythic, the next Soul of Plains card.
This is better. This is actually quite good.
Soul of Chandalar. It's 4 red.
Yes.
First strike. 6/6 with first strike for 6. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Limited again, just straight up body wise. Yeah.
But it's a mythic, so ooh. For 3 red, Soul of Chandalar deals 3 damage to target player and 3 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls. And then you can do the same thing for the same cost if it's in your graveyard by exiling it.
It's good. It's actually probably one of the most relevant abilities, simply for the fact it costs less than what the creature costs.
It's 5 mana to deal 6 damage, split 2 ways.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty decent. It's probably not going to see standard play because red's all about cheap creatures, red deck wins, burn spells, blah, 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 blah. But Soul of Chandlar is okay. I mean,
the whole sort of soul cycle is a bit limp,
it is.
but this is among the best.
It's like a limp penis on a wet Tuesday. But it's, it's okay.
We are recording this on a Tuesday.
I'm semi hard right now.
Still
But not because of Soul of Chandlar.
No, definitely not. But it's alright. But we're looking at it in comparison to Soul of Ravnica. Compared to Soul of Ravnica,
it's like the original Titan. It's like Inferno
Kiki
Titan.
Jiki.
Yeah.
It's like Black Lotus.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It'll do work. But moving on to the thing that is actually getting my penis into a semi is...
Noah will not shut up about Genesis Hydra.
My God.
He won't stop talking about Genesis Hydra.
Genesis Hydra.
I'll let you.
X and 2 green. Plant Hydra, which is awesome. This is designed by George Fan, by the way. And I'm a big fan of you, George. Come on.
See what I did there?
Whoa! All the
Jokes.
jokes here. So when you cast Genesis Hydra, you can reveal the top X cards of your library, because you're paying X for the mana cost. And you can put a non-land permanent card with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest into your library. You don't lose those cards, which is fantastic. Unlike Genesis Wave, which is what this is based on, they go into the graveyard. So this is a lot better, and then it enters the battlefield with X1 counters, just like Hydra's Drew. Oh my God!
You're playing Golgari.
Oh my God! It's so good.
You cast
It's
this.
so good.
You cast this for
It's so
4
good.
green,
Yeah.
and then you turn over a Desecration Demon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the dream.
that's the dream.
I mean, this thing in Golgari is awesome. There's so many good stuff in black you can flip over.
Demons especially because low cost.
You're going to want to cast this at 5 minimum to get things at a 3 cost. and 6 if you really want something good. The deck I want to play this in is going to be junk. It's white, black, and green, because having a Genesis Wave on this Hydra that can rip up a Courser of Crucifix, a Desecration Demon, a Banishing Light, and Underworld Connections is just amazing. Without paying mana cost, imagine getting a Desecration Demon without paying mana cost. Imagine getting something to exile a creature, or is it permanent, Banishing Light?
Banishing Light is non-land permanent.
So there we go, a non-land permanent. How good is that? For free. I mean, as I say, the options are endless in EDH because you can just go ham with the amount of mana and you just get something crazy.
Well then, Noah, I've played with things like
don't.
Things like
Don't
come on, what's
ruin
it
it.
called, Voyaging Satyr,
Don't ruin it.
you know, all the stuff that's like turn over X cards, and you can put you if you cast Genesis Hydra for 4 green, guaranteed you'll turn 4 lands over. And even if you don't, is it worth running that risk? That's the question that I put to you.
Yes, because if it pays off, it's insane. And the fact that there's Scry sets this thing up a treat.
Okay.
Even if you're playing a Temple for next turn Hydra, you get to look at the top card, and if it's not what you want, if it's not one of the cards you're hoping to get,
you can bin it.
I mean, there are better things to Scry in green, black, and white, but and that's for my jungle personally.
You're whipped up into a frenzy.
I think Genesis Hydra is going to see play. I think it's going to be one of the better rares to come out of this set, because I really rate this highly so far. From what we've seen, I rate it incredibly highly.
Okay, so all Noah's having palpitations
Oh
about
my
Genesis
God,
Hydra.
I love it so much.
Another one from the Soul Cycle, Soul of Zendikar.
It's middle ground for the souls.
It's 4 green, 6/6 with reach. 3 green, put a 3/3 green beast creature on token onto the battlefield, and then 3 green from the exile from the graveyard.
It's one of the better ones.
It's middling.
It's one of the better ones out of the other ones. It provides decent value when it's out or in the graveyard, because green's always going to have a lot to do with the mana, so getting a 3/3 beast is fine. In standard, it could be okay, maybe? I think it could see some play.
Reach is one of the
Reach is
one of the shitter abilities.
Oh, Reach is terrible. That's the only thing. Reach is terrible. I'd rather play an Arbor Colossus than this if I wanted Reach.
Yeah.
However, it could see some fringe standard play. F&Ms, yeah, I'm expecting to see a few of these across the table from me. I won't be playing it. I can tell you that now. Limited, yes, it's good. Not that Reach is relevant, but a 6/6 body's good, and then you can keep getting 3/3 beasts, which is going to provide you a good source of things.
In Limited, if you've got this out, and even if it only survives a couple of turns, then you've got like 6, I mean, you've got like 12 damage on board, and it's good. It's alright.
But if you want that sort of thing, because obviously Theros is still going to be around, Mono Green Devotion might want it, because it does add 2 green Devotion.
Yeah.
And you can pump out 3/3s quite regularly, because you'll have the Devotion to use the 2 green casting cost, and you can, nick Thos into these abilities for 2 mana instead of 5. You're quite easy to get there.
Yes.
But I mean, fringe standard play, yes, in Limited, because it's big and has abilities.
So I believe, next we're coming on to Yisan the Wanderer Bard. I really like the flavour.
It is an awesomely cool
It's designed by Brian Fargo, which good name.
It rings a bell, the name Brian Fargo, but
You're probably thinking about Fargo the film, or the recent TV series.
Probably.
Yeah.
Either way, we're not plugging those things. They don't sponsor us.
It is good though.
So if you do want to sponsor us.
A legendary creature. It's a human rogue for 2 and a green. You get a 2/3 body.
It's cool that a rogue's in green, just to quickly say.
Yeah. So with that 2/3 body, you get pay 2 and green and tap. You put a verse counter on Yisan the Wanderer Bard. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the number of verse counters on Yisan. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
Only thing is that disappoints me about this card, because I actually really like it. Only thing that disappoints me, it's a legendary creature and it doesn't have flavor text.
There's a lot. They had to make room for designed by Brian Fargo.
But I would have at least liked sort of like.
If it was just like, hey.
No, not just hey. Something like, hey, I'm going to play an E flat now, guys, with his little loot.
His loot and his giant worm.
That's what the worm's like, don't play an E flat, I hate E flat.
Don't
do it. But
play something major. I like the happy ones. So
anyway.
I've been back and forth on it loads. Like I was sitting in the bath earlier, having to think about it, and
oh, hello.
I was actually. And I was thinking,
you
need
soaping yourself up.
Yeah, you got it.
Worm pops out of the back.
Little worm play a happy one. You need to pump his ability at least 4 times to get value out of it. Well, 3 times. And on the 4th, then you'll get value out of it otherwise. So the first time, you got a 1 mana creature for 3 mana, and then you got a 2 mana creature for 3 mana.
I'm sorry, I completely disagree. I completely disagree. I think this is a great card.
Okay.
I
got better things to do with my mana than put it on this guy.
Go for it, because this guy is really cool. It's amazing in Commander because it's just awesome. Look how good that is for a Commander card. I mean, the thing everyone's talking about is it's the new pod. It's the new birthing pod. The good thing is you don't have to sack a creature. You can keep creatures and keep pumping them out. I know it's 3 mana, but instead of paying for a creature, you can pay the 3 mana.
Yeah.
I know you're getting a 1/1. I know you're getting a 1 mana creature first turn.
It's cleverly designed because it starts off cack and then gets better if you put more into it.
The thing is the first time you use this could be the most important time you use it, because you will go and fetch an Elvish Mystic or something.
Yeah.
You'll go and get more mana to pump into his ability to keep curving out. He's going to help you curve. That's why I really like it.
It'd be really good when he's got 3 verse counters on and then he gets Doombladed.
Shut up. But I think it could see some competitive play. I'm going out on a limb here. I don't know if you want to take a bet on this one.
Maybe not. But,
you see,
I like the card. I'm not
good.
saying I don't like the card, because I do.
It's too much like Birthing Pod not to see competitive play. The activation cost is steep, of course, but on the plus side, you don't have to sack any creatures, as I've said, and I love it. And Limited is going to be great. Draft around it and just try and curve out. It would be so cool.
I really like the idea behind it.
But I hate the fact he's not got flavor text.
And verse counters as well. So we're into colourless territory now. Do you want to take away the one that was designed by Penny Arcade? Those little scamps. They're doing quite well for themselves.
They are. Avarice Amulet. Awesome artwork. Awesome name. Yeah.
Steep cost.
4 mana of any colour. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has vigilance. And at the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. Awesome upsides. 2 cost to equip. It's sounding pretty good. When a crit creature dies, target opponent gains control of Avarice Amulet.
Again, and this is pretty much consistent with all of the sort of design cards that we've looked at so far, designed by Rara. They're sort of cool. They're just like a cool take on something that you could do within the sort of like the boundary, within the portrait of Magic.
Yeah.
But isn't necessarily like good, if you know what I mean.
I think with the same with
fun. It's a fun
exactly
card.
the same with a lot of cards from M15 we've seen so far is they are weird and they are fun.
Yeah.
And that's what Magic has to be about sometimes. It's got a decent upside. You're drawing cards. You're getting a 2/2 vigilance thing. It's got cool flavour. It's gonna look bad to some players. I mean, I don't think it's as bad as it looks. It's gonna look really bad to some players on the surface, as other players have the chance to take control of it. And new players will be like, "Oh no, I don't want you to have my stuff."
Yeah.
Whereas more veteran players probably won't care because they'll be able to play around the fact.
Yes.
They
maybe even use it against
exactly
you.
because they need a good enough blocker or a kill spell.
Yeah.
To do so. Exile doesn't work. That's what's important.
Yeah.
When a crit creature dies,
Yeah.
exile doesn't work. It has to be a kill spell, and it has to be something big enough to kill the creature it's it's being blocked by or blocking. And the decks that will run this in will be keyed around getting as much advantage from that extra card as you can, because you draw an extra card every turn.
Yeah.
So the decks this is going to be in, probably not standard, but F&M possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Because that
I
drawing an extra
wouldn't be
card.
surprised to see it because the upside's so uppy.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you draw an extra card, so control decks are going to like it, because then they'll be able to control people to stop them having the amulet.
What I like about it is the downside is not instant. It's not as soon as you play it you get the downside, and it's different. It's a different downside.
Flavorfully, this works so well because the Avarice Amulet, I mean, the person who's got it in their
being
blood,
killed and taken,
and the fact that it's got this sort of such enormous power that someone's so drawn to it and stuff that they will only relinquish it upon their death.
Do you watch American Dad?
Occasionally.
There's a golden poo that people keep killing each other for. It's kind of like that.
I've not seen that.
It's the golden poo of Magic.
Amazing.
You really like hot soup, don't you know?
Hot soup coming through. I didn't even look at the flavour text.
Oh my god! That's actually the flavour text.
I didn't even look. I honestly swear down that I'd never looked at the flavour text before, and I just shouted coming through.
Some rancid looking soup though.
That is, but it's goblin soup. Look at the goblin at the front. It's like, hey, get that shit out of here!
That's hot, yo. That's got no place on the battlefield.
Yeah. There's one guy that just doesn't care. There's, the guy that's holding it just doesn't give a shit. But anyway, 1 mana for an equipped creature can't be blocked. It costs 3 to equip.
Because it's holding the soup.
He's holding the soup. Whenever a quick creature is dealt damage, destroy it. He trips over and spills his soup. James Ernest, you're a legend. I love you.
It's just funny.
This card is just flavourfully fantastic. The art's brilliant. Again, it's something weird and it's fun. Not going to see standard play.
It's 1 to drop, 3 to equip. 3 to equip. You don't often see that kind of. You don't often see like low to bring out,
no.
high to equip.
It's more the opposite way around. I mean, you do see low and high to equip.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
less. It's less.
It's a bit of a disparity between 1 and 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But no, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
You don't often see such a gap between.
Yeah, like it's dead cheap to get it out, but you're gonna have to wait to get it equipped.
But it's not going to see standard play. However, limited's going to be ridiculous because, especially in sealed, draft not so much because people can draft removal because whenever crit creature is dealt any damage, destroy it.
Any damage.
People are just going to have to deal with this like 1 damage.
Well, obviously you're not
going
to be blocking it. So
no.
Again, that's like an interesting downside. It's like, you can't damage this creature, you can't block it, but if you can figure out a way to damage it, then it dies.
It's
regardless of.
You put this on like an 8/8 trying to make him unblockable, and then someone just goes, shock.
Yeah.
It's gone. But
then of course the equipment falls off. You can then use it again. It's not. It's pretty. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, but in limited as in sealed, because people are going to have. And we talked about this before with another card. People are going to have less removal because you can't just heavily draft some removal. No. You have to get what you're given.
Yes.
And if they don't have removal,
if you've got a bomb, make it unblockable.
Yeah. If they don't have removal, hot soup it and just smash through.
Yeah.
Because it's going to work. It really is going to work. Bear it in mind, it's a good card. I think you should play it in limited. No standard, even though it's fun and it's lovely and it's amazing.
I'm going to get you a t-shirt with the words "No Standard" printed on it.
I'm so sorry. I think I'm just saying that all the time. But
the thing is,
I mean, in reality, it's a really bad card.
Yeah, it is.
But
there's a lot.
I'm so glad it exists.
Let's say there's been a lot of like not in standard talk. Obviously, we're saying this from the vantage point we're at now. We don't know what Khans is going to bring out, and we don't know what the rest of M15 is going to bring out.
Exactly. We're talking about in standard now.
Right now. From what we know.
From what we've seen here, and from, what we've got already in standard, so Theros and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyway.
Moving on to Shield of the Avatar. I hate it. I really hate this card because I hate the ability of preventing damage.
Well, lay it on me. Lay it on me, brother.
Tell me what the card is because I can't even read it.
Shield of the Avatar.
It's annoying me.
It's an equipment for 1 to play, 2 to equip. If a source would deal damage to the equipped creature, prevent X of that damage, where X is the number of creatures you control. Okay, yes, we get it. You can play around with X. Algebra's fun. But it's not that great.
I really don't like it. I really don't like it. I'll tell you why I don't like it. Preventing damage is boring.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you have to prevent damage? Just let it happen and just get on with the game.
It's like we were saying in private earlier, and we're about to come on to with our next card as well. There's been a lot of indestructible flying about in standard at the moment.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings the game to a screeching halt.
Yeah, I don't like this prevent damage thing because, and I think it's primarily me being anti-white. I really don't like white as a colour, but preventing damage obviously is very white. But it's just, I agree. I think it's boring. I think it's boring to prevent damage. I know for a fact you want to keep your creature, and yeah, I understand that, but it does just make the game slow, and I don't like a slow game. I like an exciting game. I don't want to be sat there thinking, I can't do anything because you have this stupid shield that's on your creature.
Yes, absolutely. Like, oh, you got a fleece main lying out. Oh, it's indestructible.
However, as much as I hate it, it's a decent piece of equipment. I've got to say, it's a decent piece of equipment in limited, as even with only one creature, it basically adds an extra point of toughness to it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. But if you can pump out smaller creatures and stick it on a fat creature, it's going to make it very hard to deal with.
Especially
Standard.
With,
no way.
No way.
Here we go.
Especially, well, with tokens, be getting the tokens out, and then you just pumping whatever's wearing this, basically. For
I just hate it.
Anyway,
well, not the last card. We've got a few more to talk
We've got a few more cards, but I think this might be the last mythic.
It is indeed.
It's Soul of New Phyrexia. It's colourless.
It's awesome.
The art is amazing.
It looks like Elish Norn slash the green guy.
It's
that
a white.
I tried to play against you in EDH and you stopped me from doing so.
I can't remember.
I can't remember his name, but he looks like a mix of those. But in story terms, this basically is telling us that Elish Norn has won over New Phyrexia. She is the ruler of New Phyrexia.
Ooh.
Because that was something that was left solved.
6 colourless mana for a 6/6.
Trample.
It's good.
It's colourless. We'll talk about this after we've talked about the abilities. 5 mana of any colour, permanents you control gain indestructible, not just creatures, permanents. It's really good, and do the same again with exiling it from your graveyard.
All permanents you control gain indestructible till end of turn.
It's.
I mean, we did just badmouth indestructible, but if I had this on my side of the field, I'd be pretty happy.
For me, it is the best one.
Probably.
It's the best one so far because it's colourless. You can play it in any deck. You're going to play it in any deck. If you get it in limited, you are going to slam first pick it. A 6/6 trample for 6 is ridiculous.
And it doesn't section off your colours at all.
Sinking mana into making everything you control indestructible until the end of turn is ridiculous. It's going to win.
And this really, really shows off how bad Soul of Ravnica is.
Yeah, it really does. You put this against Soul of Ravnica and this just wins every time.
Yeah.
I know Ravnica, I can fly over. Yeah, well, screw you. My entire team's indestructible. Try and block this.
Yeah.
Without everything you have dying and me getting through for everything.
This is probably the best mythic we've seen so far.
It's the best mythic we've seen so far. It's an absolute limited all-star. Take nothing away from it.
So next, there's a legendary land. You excited about it?
Oh my...
Giddy
Oh my god, yes. So excited. Sliverhive. Sliverhive is awesome. We'll talk about it in a second. I just love it. I love slivers just with... That's my confession. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. For a start, it's got the old art.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Sliverhive. It's obviously a colourless because slivers are sort of every colour. It can't cater for everything. Or can it? Tap to add 1 mana of colourless to your standard land, and then you tap to add 1 colour of any mana to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast slivers.
Which, if you've got this in your deck, that's your plan.
That's the plan. And pay 5 and tap to put a 1/1 colourless sliver creature token onto the battlefield.
Which, go on.
And you can activate it only if you control a sliver.
It sounds bad, but if you've got 2 or 3 slivers out, I mean, if you've never played a slivers deck, you should go creatures first.
Yeah, like playing this on like having that ability on turn 5 after you've paid like 4 turns of getting slivers out.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got striking sliver turn 1.
Yeah.
You've got the green one.
Yeah.
To give things +1/+1.
Oh,
No. The what's it called? I can't remember. It's called the old one is called muscle sliver.
Oh, okay.
This one's called predatory sliver.
Yes.
Predatory sliver. And then you can go into blur sliver. And then you can go into the double strike sliver.
And then what's the Megalanth?
And then you just pay 5 and get a 1/1 colour sliver, and then
Which
you've got
has
all those
all of
abilities.
this.
Because that's what slivers do. They have every ability of every other sliver on the battlefield.
Super cool.
Super cool. Old artwork. So fingers crossed they keep that up because I really like the old artwork.
I don't hate the new.
I don't hate the new, but I think the old artwork's better.
Yeah, maybe.
It confirms more slivers for M15, surely.
Surely, yeah.
And it gives giving players more sliver tools is an awesome idea. I think we'll see some sliver decks popping up at FNM. I'm going to try and build one. I'm going to be joining the sliver horde. I think it's great.
I tried and pretty much failed to get my wife into Magic, but she absolutely loved playing the slivers deck that I made for her.
They're just cool. They work because they're so intuitive to people. It's like, oh, this doesn't look great. Oh, hang on. It gets everything these guys get, and it tells you this gets that gets this, blah 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 blah.
If you're trying to teach somebody how to play Magic, sliver decks is a good way to start.
Yeah, and as well, it teaches them how keywords work together, not just how keywords will work on their own, how they'll work together.
Yes,
it's really cool. I love the fact it's out there. Let's move on.
So I think this might be the last one.
It is our last card.
So it's Darksteel Citadel, a reprint.
A reprint. And this broke things along with other things. They're not going to be reprinting other certain things like Affinity for Artifacts because of things like this. This is an artifact land with Indestructible. Add 1
mana
mana pool.
It works really well with Affinity. As it is now,
it's not great. It's not that useful.
No.
I mean, other than the fact that, things like Bear of Heavens is going to destroy, every permanent on the battlefield.
Yeah.
This isn't going to die.
Well, this isn't.
So,
but this is a land that has protection from destruction. Big deal. I mean,
there's not much land destruction.
no, it's not.
But maybe this could show that there might be some land destruction in the set.
Could be, and it's not a legendary. That's worth pointing out. So they're not expecting you to only have one.
Ah.
I thought about that, but then
That's interesting. But I mean, it's just.
But I do think if they're going to push something, they're not going to push land destruction. So.
But you know what? One thing that people have been saying they're going to push. We'll talk about this before we finish.
Mm-hmm.
Walls. No joke. People genuinely think, from the reprints that we're hearing about,
Walls are coming back in a big way.
that walls are coming back in a big way. So stay tuned, guys, for those spoilers. We'll be back with more spoilers and general MTG talk next week. I've been Noah Platts.
I've been Alex Shookheath. You like that?
I loved it. Thank you very much for listening or watching free on the YouTubes, Chump Blockers.
Cheers,
And we'll
guys.
see you next week.
See you in a bit.